Hey, hello guys, welcome to Learn Eternity, a platform to learn anything, anytime.
In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to work with the form in Bootstrap. Okay, so I have just created a small file with the linking of bootstrap.css, linking the bootstrap.main.js file and the jQuery file. Okay. Uh, I have just noted down the point that I'm going to cover in this tutorial. So let me go ahead and quickly display that point. Okay, as you can see that we are going to work on a basic example of how to work with the form. We are going to look forward to the inline form and horizontal form in Bootstrap. Then we are going to work with the different form controls. Then we are going to look forward to the control sizing of the forms in Bootstrap. The next thing that we are going to learn is how to work with the validation state in the form, and then we are going to work with some sort of, let me just go ahead and remove this because we are going to want the work in a validation state in one manner. Okay, so that's it. So these are the things that we are going to cover in this tutorial. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you the basic example of form in Bootstrap. So in order to work with the Bootstrap form, you just have to create a div, and inside that div you just have to pass a class of form group. Okay, so if you, in order to group the elements of form, you can use a form group div class. Okay, so once you do that, you have to include some elements that you wanted to include in the form. So I'm just including a label with the text of email ID. Okay, so once you do that, I'm just giving an attribute called as a for and giving this as a email. I'm just creating a input type text. Okay, so whenever you work with any control in a Bootstrap, you have to write a class that is predefined in a Bootstrap called as a form dash control. Okay, so once you do that, you just have to pass an ID of whatever the for you have write in the email. So this for will be going to work with this email in the case of ID. So whenever you a person click on this label, it will go ahead and active this text box. Okay, so we have this form control as a class in order to work with the form. The next thing we are going to learn is a form control with the form group. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy this form group once again, and let me change this to password. Okay, let me change this to password again, and also this to password. Let me change this type to password. So if you go ahead and run this file and check out, so as you can see, we have created a Bootstrap text boxes. Okay, if you wanted to work with the simple example of Bootstrap form, then just go ahead and create a form group, and in that we have to use a control that we want to use in. Okay, so this is an simple example of a form group. Let me add some button so that we can use that button in order to submit the form. Okay, so give it a name as a form group, and let me add that button inside the form group. So let me add this as a form class of btn primary, and change this to submit. Okay, so once again save that and refresh. So we have successfully created a basic form in Bootstrap. The next thing that we are going to learn is an inline form. So in the case of inline form, the form control are aligned inline. So in the case of inline, we used to display the control in a single line. So let me go ahead and copy this form inside this inline form block, and let me include one tag, that is a form. Once you include that tag, you just have to pass the class of this inline form as a form inline. So let me just provide the form class of inline. So just go ahead and save that and refresh. So as you can see, it is giving me a form with the inline form. So it will be displaying the form in a single line manner. The next thing that we are going to learn in the form is a horizontal form. Okay, so in order to work with the horizontal form, let me go ahead and copy this form again and just change the type of form to form horizontal. Okay, so the form horizontal will work in a different way than the inline form. We'll just go ahead and refresh the form. Once you do that, just let and go ahead with working with the form controls. So there are the different controls supported by form. So we can use a input type text, we can use a text area, we can use a checkbox or radio button, or we can use a different controls in Bootstrap. So in order to work with the text box, what we can do, we can just grab this code over here. Okay, so you just have to pass this form control attribute in order to work with the input type text or input type password. Okay, so once you do that, just go ahead and save the file. If you wanted to work with the checkbox, then we have to create a div with the class of checkbox, and inside that we have to create the input of type checkbox with the name of something that you want. So I'm just using a checkbox. So let me go ahead and save that and refresh. So this is an text box that we have created. This is a small checkbox that we are going to work with, and the next thing that we are going to learn is working with the disabled checkbox. So in order to work that, we just have to pass the disabled class in this div. So if you save this file and just go ahead and refresh, so in the case of that, let me save this file and go ahead and refresh. You also have to pass the parameter called disable to the checkbox. So let me make sure that is available. So you can see that the checkbox is now disabled. You can also work with this as a radio button and radio button disable. So I'm just creating the radio button way. So create a class div with a class of radio button and just change this to radio. So once you do that, just let me remove this disabled and let me write here as male, and just go ahead and copy and write here as female. Okay, so you just go ahead and refresh. So let me change a little bit and make this a breakdown. So just go ahead and refresh. So as you can see, we have successfully created a radio button. We also have to include the radio button a name of the same. So I'm just include the radio button of name same, that is radio and radio. Okay, so once you do that, this is how you work with the radio button in Bootstrap. So there are lots of things that you can work with in a Bootstrap. You just have to add this form control in order to work with a Bootstrap element. Okay, the next thing that we are going to learn is a validation state of the form. So in the validation state, we can work in a form of error, in the form of success, in the form of warning. So if you have a text box, suppose, let me just go ahead and copy this text box. Okay, and just change this remove this ID of password. So this is the text box that we have. We can use a validation state by applying the class called a has success. Okay, so if you apply the class has success to the div that you have, so let me change and apply the has success to the div and make sure the input type text is inside the div. Okay, so apply the class to this and let me change this to form group. Okay, so once you do that, just go ahead and refresh. So as you can see, we have this green colored text box we have. Another thing that we can use while working with the form control and validation state is that we can use this input group to display some label, and I'm using the label as a control and just changing the class of this label as a form, that is a control label. Okay, so once you do that, just go ahead and refresh with the text. So I'm just using, this is a success text box. Let me go ahead and save and refresh. So as you can see, this is now in a group green color. We wanted to work with the error text box, then you just have to write a code that is like, let me go ahead and copy this, paste it over here, and just change this error success to error. Okay, so let me change this to has error, and once you do that, let me change this to error text box and go ahead and refresh. So this is the validation step, that is success error. Another thing that you have is a warning, so let me include that and change this to has warning and change this text to warning text box. So the label class will be the control label in order to work with the form in Bootstrap. Okay, so just go ahead and refresh. So this is a warning text box that we have. The last topic that we are going to cover in this tutorial is a control sizing. So whenever you are working with a text box that is control, you just have to include different sizing of the Bootstrap form control. So in order to work with the form sizing, you have a 3 class that is called as input LG, input SM, and input access. So let me go ahead and create this in a LG form. So this is a large one. Another that we can use is SM, input SM for small one, and another class that we can use is input access, that is extra small. So let me go ahead and save that and refresh. So as you can see, we have 3 text box created. with this large content, small content, and extra small content. Okay.
So that's it for this tutorial. Hope you understand everything. If you have any doubts, feel free to comment below. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned. Till then, see ya.